Hello friends, welcome back to another video. If you're new here, I'm Megan, and here we talk about all things books, writing, grammar, and more. If you haven't already, please make sure to give this video a like. It helps out my channel a ton, and don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell so you're notified every time I upload a new video. So a few months ago, I made a video titled The Downside of AuthorTube Part 1, and if you missed it, you can watch it right here. But basically, that video is all about the downside of AuthorTube from the watcher's perspective. Yes, I am on AuthorTube, but I also consume the content. So I felt like I had two different perspectives on this topic, hence why today we are on part 2, which is the downside of AuthorTube from the AuthorTuber's perspective. So just to clarify before we jump in, I am not saying in this video that all things AuthorTube are bad, or that you should completely avoid the platform, or that even you will have the same experiences that I have. Everyone has different experiences, but these are my experiences or experiences from people who I know are on the platform. These are things I haven't seen many AuthorTubers talk about at all, and I think there's a lot to consider before you just put yourself up on the internet to be an AuthorTuber. One of the biggest complaints I think people get on AuthorTube is being lumped into being an AuthorTube author, or your book is an AuthorTube book, which should be a good thing, but it is definitely seen as something very bad.
They're bad, you shouldn't read them.
And I don't think that that's entirely fair. I know a lot of people consider my book to be an AuthorTube book, but I came up with the concept years before I even knew what AuthorTube was, let alone before I started my own AuthorTube channel. I was done with my first draft about 2 years before I started my channel, and had gone through a lot of the processes like the self-editing, the critique partner process, all before I even started on YouTube. So people are going to lump in my book as an AuthorTube book, but again, there's a lot to consider. So all I can really say about this is if you are an author on YouTube who creates content, just know that some people will not read your book strictly for the fact that you produce content on AuthorTube. There's nothing you can really do about that. You're not going to convince anyone that your book is different from other people's books. So I guess that's something you kind of just have to accept. I will say though that this point does have some validity to it. Oftentimes people who have a very large following on AuthorTube can get comfortable in their writing because they know they have a large fan base. They know people are going to buy their books. So they can maybe get a little comfortable or try to rush things to please their audience, but that is something you definitely should avoid. Take the time that your book needs to get to where it needs to be. Once you lose the trust of your audience, it's really hard to earn it back. So don't just try to rush content or rely on the fact that you have followers so they're just going to buy your book. This is terrible. It gives AuthorTube a very bad name. And I know there are two main AuthorTubers who take the brunt of this for sure, who have very large channels and people do not enjoy their books and they say they don't follow their own advice. I can absolutely see this point of view, but just because two AuthorTubers may not take their own advice doesn't mean the other thousands of us are not doing that. Another downfall I've seen from other AuthorTubers is that they feel that their opinion somehow matters more than everyone else's opinion, which again makes the community look bad. And if you're part of the community, it kind of falls on you even if you're not like that. What I mean by this is even if you're an expert on a topic, it doesn't mean that your views or what you say is the only way to do anything. And I feel like a lot of AuthorTubers are saying,
this is the only way to do it. If you don't do it this way, then you're stupid and you're never going to make it as an author.
And that's really not fair. And if someone disagrees with you, there is absolutely no excuse for you to be bashing them on your channel. You have a public channel, and depending on how many viewers you have influence over a lot of people here. And so if you don't like someone else's opinion or someone just disagrees with you so you decide you hate them, if you're going to publicly bash them, I'm sorry, that just makes you look bad. To sort of go along with that point, I do have writing advice videos that you can definitely look at, but I want to say, as I've said in so many videos before, there are exceptions to every single rule out there. So if my advice does not fit your genre, your style, your category, or whatever else, then please don't listen to it. Only listen to the advice that actually applies to you. There's no one-size-fits-all, including my channel. Some of the biggest downsides to being an author on a public platform would absolutely be the haters and the creeps. People are going to try to argue with you. It's going to happen. If it hasn't happened yet and you continue in the process and you grow and grow, it's going to happen. There's really no way of getting around it. I would say it started happening for me around 100 subscribers, maybe even a little less. But people who've never even watched your videos, don't know who you are, have never read your book, somehow are going to have an opinion on you. I don't know where this opinion comes from, but you know, they look at your face and they decide that your videos suck, that you suck, that your book sucks, that no one should ever listen to you. And if you have watched any of my videos, then you know the presence that I try to have here on AuthorTube. Yet, let me tell you a few of the names that I have been called by people either in YouTube comments or Facebook comments. And I'm not sure if I'm gonna get in trouble from YouTube for saying these words, so I really hope not. I've been called a bigot, racist, homophobic, uneducated. I've gotten the whole educate yourself thing. Yeah, that was fun. I've also had people talk down to me where, okay, if you're a woman, then you know this one, but where people try to put you down by calling you girl. And I would say 90% of the time that people have called me these things, they haven't watched my videos. They have not read my book. I've actually had people tell me that my book is a ripoff of someone else's book, but they haven't read my book. This is a very hard topic to talk about because we should not have to put up with these things. I shouldn't have to have someone be calling me a racist just because my MC is black. That is absolutely ridiculous. But unfortunately, that's part of being on the internet and putting yourself out there publicly. And you know, my one video on this topic is not going to stop people from doing this. People feel anonymous when they're online. They've got the screen between you and them, and they will say just about anything because they're a troll, they're a hater. So if you're an AuthorTuber and you're getting this hate, or you're sitting there like, oh my gosh, I really don't want to have to go through that, don't let it get to you. If you see someone doing hate, don't even read the full thing. Do not comment on it, just delete it. There's no need for these comments to be on there at all. I will delete 1,000 comments from a video if people are going to be hateful. There's no room for hate on my channel, so if you think you're gonna come on here and call me names, I'm just gonna delete your comment. The other part of this is what I would call creeps, where they're not trying to hate on you or your channel, they're just being extremely inappropriate with you. I've had people try to private message me, I've had people in my comments where they try to make advances at you. Again, ignore it and just delete it. If it's making you uncomfortable, just delete the comments. Another thing AuthorTubers have to look out for is spammers. I've gotten countless comments on so many videos of mine where it's, I believe, just a link to a site with a lot of naked people on it. You know what I'm talking about. Just delete them. You don't need to comment. You don't need to say, hey, get out of here. Just delete the comment. Also, going along with the haters, people will try to put words in your mouth. They will put words in your mouth. They will take what you've said and twist it into something horrible. And again, most of the time, these people have not even watched the video. They look at the thumbnail and then they have decided what your argument is and they argue against you. Now, if it's hateful, again, just delete it. But sometimes people actually have a valid point. A lot of times what they're telling me is exactly what I'm saying in the video. And I'll just comment to them, hey, these are great points. This is exactly what I'm talking about in the video. Go ahead and check it out. You know, you don't need to fight people. If you think that there's someone who wants to have an actual conversation with you, just let them know to watch the video. I've done this with people and they're like, oh, okay, cool, I'll watch your video. Then they watch the video and then they comment on the video. I see what you were talking about. I totally agree with you. People are going to have snap judgments. They're going to put words in your mouth. Not fun when people take what you say out of context and then try to make you the bad guy. But it happens. Again, you're on YouTube. You're here with a 10, 12, 15-minute video, however, I don't know how long your videos are, but you can only talk about a topic so in depth. If I wanted to say every single perspective on one topic, it would be hours long of a video on just one specific thing to cover all my bases. And that's just not how YouTube works. So a lot of times what people like to do is reach into those gaps of what you may have said or have not said and use it against you. Again, just ignore it. Just delete the hateful comments. And definitely watch out for this one as well, because it's not always just trolls or haters who are doing this. I've had actual other large AuthorTubers take what I've said in 1 or 2 sentences where I'm trying to be helpful to someone, twist my words, put a different meaning into my mouth, and then drag my name through the mud. That's unacceptable. We should not be doing this to each other. If you have a problem with another AuthorTuber, reach out to them and ask for clarification. There's no need to have an argument with someone where you're dragging their name through the mud, and if you're the larger channel, you need to take some responsibility here and realize the influence that you're having when you're taking someone who has a smaller channel and what you're doing to their reputation. It's honestly disgusting and it needs to stop. All right, now for some less heavy stuff here on AuthorTube. Running a successful AuthorTube channel is very time consuming and is a big commitment. Take just a 5-minute video, for example. You could look at this 5-minute video that a YouTuber has put up and think it may have taken maybe an hour to make the 5-minute video. You know, you've got to write a script and you've got to film and then you edit it down a little and then you just post it. That is not how it works. It takes much more time. A 5-minute video can easily take 5+ hours to create, depending on the content and how much editing actually needs to go into that video. For example, some of my 10 or 15-minute videos actually took less time than one of my 3.5-4-minute videos, which is my book trailer. That took me months and months and months to complete. So just because you're seeing a small little portion, don't think it's going to take you this much amount of time. And again, there are exceptions to every rule. So if it takes you only an hour to make a video, that's great. But I'm saying for most people, it's going to take much longer. Having a channel is also a very, very big commitment. If you want to build up a large audience, more than, 10, 100, 200, 1,000 people, then they're going to expect consistency from you. And yes, every once in a while, things come up. You probably, if you've followed me for a long time, have noticed that I have had to skip 1 or 2 weeks. But what I like to do is I have bonus videos to supplement that, because you know that I post videos every single Tuesday. That's why in the 1 year that I've been on AuthorTube, I think this is the 62nd video I have. So I'm definitely making, on average, just over 1 video a week for you guys, which is very consistent. Now, consistency does not mean you have to upload twice a week or once a week. You could do once every 2 weeks, once a month, whatever fits what you're talking about and your audience. You just need to pick what would be consistent for you. Finally, one of the most annoying things about being on AuthorTube is people are going to try to tell you how to do everything. No AuthorTuber who has 300,000 subscribers is going to look at my channel and be like,
"Hey Megan, I see your channel. Let me help you along the way."
That would be fantastic. No, what I'm talking about is people who have no idea what they're talking about at all. They have never been on AuthorTube. They don't really use social media. They don't run a business. They're not a writer. Never made or edited a video, they've never written a script, but they're going to tell you how you can do it better. And again, it's one of those things that just comes along with being on the platform, unfortunately. Absolutely one of the most annoying parts, but it's something you just got to deal with. So that's what I have for you guys today, the downside of AuthorTube from the AuthorTuber's perspective. If you found this video helpful, please make sure to give it a like and subscribe for more bookish and writing related videos. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next time. Bye.